But actually, I forgot to tell you, we were talking about like our first week, what people had to say. Well, the WNBA fined me for
No! You got fined for episode 1?
Dude, they fined me $1,500. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is just the beginning. I was like, you're kidding.
Every time Sophie Cunningham speaks her mind about the reality in the WNBA, her GM's inbox lights up with that dreaded subject line, another fine. Another penalty for daring to be honest. And this time, they didn't just double down on the punishment, they tripled it.
They fined her again. Sophie Cunningham has now been fined 4 times this season. She's had 4 separate fines this season. And she got fined for comments on a podcast episode about referees. And it wasn't even like it was that bad.
The voices are growing louder, the frustration boiling over, and the once unthinkable is now openly debated across social media and sports forums. Sophie Cunningham's fans have had enough, making it crystal clear they want her to walk away from the WNBA altogether and speak her mind freely, no matter what consequences Commissioner Kathy Engelbert throws her way.
Man, leave Sophie Cunningham alone, Kathy Engelbert. Don't nobody care about that corrupted WNBA and those corrupted referees. Y'all want to fine her $500. Why? Because y'all feeling some type of way because you, as the commissioner, not doing your job for that bum league. You hear me? At the end of the day, y'all have so many injuries. It's crazy. Y'all have over 150 injuries this year recorded. That's insane. Something now.
What began as a simple podcast debut has quickly snowballed into something much bigger. Sophie Cunningham launched her new show, Show Me Something, with the volume Colin Cowherd's media empire, and within days of the first episode's release, she was slapped with a $1,500 fine. Not $500, not a token slap on the wrist, but $1,500 for daring to say the obvious. WNBA referees are human and make mistakes, far too many of them.
If they didn't like you then, they sure aren't going to like you now. Sophie Cunningham has been making waves with the new podcast that she is now featured in, courtesy of The Volume. Sophie Cunningham letting it all out and not holding back one.
If you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button, because what happened next is the kind of audacity that'll make your blood boil. On her podcast, Sophie Cunningham did something downright revolutionary in today's WNBA. She told the truth. She said, and I quote, "If I was a ref, I know I would mess up all the time. Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing?" She gave them credit, admitted their job is tough, and even said she wouldn't be good at it herself, yet somehow that honesty still earned her a fine.
And she pulls me aside and she goes, "Come here, Soph, I have to talk to you." And this was in like front of everybody. And I was like, "What did I do now?" And she just smiled. She goes, "Hey, they're going to fine you again." They're like, I was like, I even told them, I even credited them that their job was hard. I did say that. And I said that I would.
No, you did.
But then she had the nerve to point out the obvious. The officiating is inconsistent. She basically said, if you're on the other team and you're going to foul me, cool, but let me do it to you. That's what earned her a $1,500 fine. Not for cursing out officials, not for making personal attacks, not for crossing any lines of professionalism, just for saying what every fan, player, coach, and analyst has been repeating all season long. The calls aren't
World of what they dealing with. So you telling me if I'm getting bullied, I can't make a video about it? You gonna punish me because I'm letting everybody know and the whole world know what's going on with me and that I'm crying out for help? So you gonna make me the bad guy?
Sophie went out of her way to be fair, acknowledging how tough officiating is, giving refs the benefit of the doubt, yet still got slapped with a $1,500 fine for telling the truth. On her podcast, she revealed, "Everyone in my locker room, they're like, oh God, what is she going to say next?" Even her own teammates are tiptoeing around her, afraid that just being associated with her honesty could get them fined too. That reaction says everything about how absurd this has become. And the kicker, this wasn't Sophie's first run-in with the WNBA's fine machine.
Is it uncommon for coaches or players to get fined in a professional league when talking about officiating? No, that's not uncommon. However, when your league is looking worse than the NFL on officiating, you know what you might ought to do? Sit down in the corner and shut the bleep up. And maybe you ought not be fining your players over it, because your officiating is dog shit.
She'd already been hit with a $500 fine for a TikTok video where she lip-synced to Sabrina Carpenter's Man-Child, a clip that went viral with over 1.3 million views. Sophie's reaction to that fine summed her up perfectly. Why this is funny to me. Like, okay, you got it, bud. 'Cause there's not more important things to be worried about with our league right now. And that was just the start. She was later fined $900 for defending Caitlin Clark during the infamous Connecticut Sun Brawl. When JCS Sheldon poked Clark in the eye and Marina Mabry shoved her to the ground, Sophie stepped in with a hard foul on Sheldon that sent a crystal clear message. Mess with our star, deal with the consequences. For standing up for her teammate against targeted harassment, she got slapped with another fine, nearly $1,000.
It wasn't that long ago that Sophie Cunningham made this little TikTok video. And in said TikTok video, and you can see right here, this was July 23rd, she put this up and said she got fined $500 by the WNBA for criticizing the ref.
Let's break down the numbers, because they're staggering. Sophie Cunningham has racked up at least $2,900 in fines this season alone, $500 for the TikTok, $900 for defending Caitlin Clark, and $1,500 for her podcast comments. That's nearly $3,000 for telling the truth, protecting a teammate, and sharing an opinion on officiating. To put it in perspective, rookie-scale WNBA salaries start around $60,000. So these fines eat a noticeable chunk of her paycheck. But here's the beautiful irony Kathy Engelbert and her front office enforcers completely missed. Every single fine has only made Sophie more powerful. After the Connecticut Sun incident, her social media following skyrocketed from roughly 350,000 to over 1.6 million overnight. And the $500 TikTok fine turned into millions of views and massive engagement.
After 6 years of anonymity, Sophie Cunningham has suddenly become a superstar this season. Why? How did she accomplish the previously unachievable? How did she become a star in a league that seems to be allergic to star power? To her credit, Sophie Cunningham used her brain. She noticed that the path to stardom had already been cleared for her. She emulated the strategy that was utilized by Draymond Green.
On her podcast, Sophie laid it out plainly. 95% of the population who watches the WNBA agrees with me. And she's right, every metric, fan poll, and social media thread backs her up. WNBA officiating has been a mess all season. Players have been saying it for months. Angel Reese bluntly declared, "The officiating has to be fixed, and I don't give a damn if I get fined." Chicago Sky's Elizabeth Williams called the league's handling of situations really immature. Coaches like Stephanie White, Becky Hammon, and Natasha Howard have all criticized the officiating and paid for it with fines. Even Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has admitted there's a problem, saying, "We hear the concerns. We take that input. Every play is reviewed. Consistency is important. There's an independent evaluation of our officials. There are ramifications. So, it's something we need to continue to work on." The commissioner herself admits consistency is an issue. How is Sophie wrong for saying the exact same thing? But this isn't just about fines, it's about silencing one of the most authentic voices in women's basketball. When Sophie defended Caitlin Clark during the Connecticut Sun melee, it wasn't only about protecting a teammate, it was about standing up to a culture where jealousy and resentment manifest as physical targeting. Sophie's been the lone player brave enough to say what everyone else is whispering. Caitlin Clark is being systematically targeted by players who resent her success, and the officials are letting it happen.
But, I mean, here's the thing. Are the WNBA referees just kind of bad, especially this season? Yeah, they are. And I think they're just bad all around. You know, it's not even just like one player or one team or anything else like that. Like, they're just overall, like, really bad. But here's the thing, right? Here's what I think, and this is not just pertaining to the WNBA, but just any sports league that has some sort of referee or just some sort of refereeing official. I think after every game, there should be a post-game conference for the referees, just like how there are for the players. And like I said, not even just in the WNBA, but in all sports leagues, because some of the calls that are made, I genuinely look and I'm wondering if I'm watching the same game as...
Sophie's account of her former team's mentality perfectly sums up the toxic culture at play. I know the talks Phoenix had in their locker room of like, we're going to show her what the W really is. I get it to a certain extent, every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're going to treat them. But there's just more for her. It's her second year now. Being on her team and seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? It's just too much. And that's the heart of the frustration. Sophie gets slapped with a $1,500 fine for pointing out officiating inconsistencies on her podcast, while players who intentionally target and endanger opponents get little more than a wrist slap. Marina Mabrey blindsided Caitlin Clark with a cheap shot that could have caused serious injury, and the league's initial response was a mere technical foul upgraded to a flagrant only after public outrage. The message from Kathy Engelbert's WNBA couldn't be clearer. Speak the truth about our failures, and we'll try to bankrupt you, actually harm players on the court, and we'll barely bat an eye.